Welcome, Capricorn. It's Tuesday? Yeah, it's Tuesday. Good old February 14th. It is Valentine's Day, but this has nothing to do with that. I do not believe in Valentine's Day. I do not care about Valentine's Day. I don't think I ever have, and I never will. So, if you're with me on that, I don't believe this is going to be about a lover. This is a lover that wants to kill you. Okay, here we go. Capricorn. Self-indulgent, focusing on self-work, time to heal, shadow work, self-appreciation. All right. Separation, heart with a key. All right. Coffin. Sword and the rose. Okay, self-indulgent, separation, heart with a key, coffin, sword and the rose. Okay. I am going to pull tarot right away as well because this message, I want to make sure that I'm seeing and hearing what I'm seeing and hearing. And that helps sometimes with clarifiers. Because what I think is that someone's doing some shadow work. And yes, okay. Very much so. So we got stop, shaman, and the moon. So I put 5 decks together with some trigger cards and some good descriptive cards. So I do feel like so the shaman, like what the shamans are, they can control beings and creatures. Like shamans are ancient. It's so hard to describe a shaman because they so much has changed over the years on what an actual shaman would do. Like a shaman is like almost like a protector, a very wise person, very wise, soul, somebody that you would go to for advice, somebody that you would go to seek help. Somebody that would lead a tribe forward, right? A very ancient, a very mystic person, okay? A very mystic being. Then with the moon right beside it, I feel like because you've ignited this inner shaman inside of you, right? The shadow work. I think you are very unsure of your future now because of how dark this world is, okay? And what you've seen. And that's hard. Like that's when you've lived a hard life, it's hard to just come out of the shadows and just start living. It's like a lot of things. It's like with people, you end up living for something, right? Because it's like life isn't worth living unless you've got something with you, right? Unless you've got people with you or you've got a dog with you or something, right? Like being alone and then having to rejuvenate, it just doesn't really work, right? The universe has to kind of pull through to make sure that you pull through, right? So I think someone's like very unsure of their future because of what this shadow work has done and what it has revealed. So this heart with a key, I feel like something's going to help you open back up again. And there's Lilith. I have to use a red light bulb because I burnt my other light bulb out. Actually, I just broke it. So everything's like red. I never noticed that some of my old readings were so light. I'm like, yeah, that's when I had a white light bulb. So like these cards are almost fucked. Like you almost kind of can't even see them. But there's Lilith in her fucking glory. And the thing is that Lilith is a badass character because Lilith went against men. Okay, she went against what a man was telling her to do. And by going against the standards of what society and gentlemen are supposed to see in a woman, right, has drastically fucking changed. Like honestly, women are not these uptight, prude bitches snooty anymore, right? And men don't get all the power, right? Even though they think they fucking deserve it or want it. So, like, Lilith takes that feminine power back and says, fuck the masculine, I'm going to do this my way. So I feel like that's going to be the key to somebody is like figuring out how you want to do it, right? How you want to use your sexuality moving forward, how you want to use this past and this work and this wise person that you've ignited, how you want to move it in the future, right? Because with the coffin, there's endings and new beginnings, and that's what happens when people die, right? They could be taking up a spot. And, you know, they could be the friggin' crypt keeper, and they're not supposed to be in that job anymore. And the only way, because this is like a lot of people, okay, who definitely do not like their wives, will try to work until the day they die because they don't want to go home. Okay, and then there's the people that are absolutely obsessed with work and never want to go home. Okay, so this is like endings and new beginnings. Like clearly this person, somebody doesn't want to leave a role, right? They don't want to go home. They don't want to call it a night. They don't want to, shake at the end of the game. They want to just keep going and going and going and going and going. So this coffin comes out because I feel like something dies to be renewed. And then I got lover, okay? Remember when I said this isn't going to be about a lover? What the fuck? I wasn't expecting... Like, why do I have that card in this deck? I have no idea why I picked that card to put in this deck, because that's like the last thing I was trying to get to, putting these cards together. But I do feel like this new person that you bring forward, okay, kills the spot that somebody else has been taking up for a while, and you come in. See, look at that on the bottom of the deck. The Five of Swords. Something is being broke apart with this coffin, okay? There we got the Nine of Wands. Still, again, walking into the abyss, okay? There's the King of Cups. I needed some characters in the deck, and I wasn't sure why I grabbed the King of Cups, because it's not exactly, again, that's a very... I don't know, we'll get to him, okay? And then we've got the last card, we've got Ghost, Visitation of the Past. So, clarity, protection, force of honor, power. Yeah, I think you step into power, okay? I think that's what this is all about, is stepping into power. And that power, okay, is not something that you're used to. Like, that's the thing, is when you use the past as fuel and not as fire, right? Use it to move you, not to burn everything down, right? So I think walking into the abyss is the whole point of this, because that's the kind of fun part, is going somewhere that you are so unsure of. But it's the unsure part that's kind of the fun part, because once you did the shadow work, I don't think you were expecting for any of this to happen. So it's like, if anything, with this Ghost and with this King of Cups, I feel like what you're walking into, okay, is almost like, it's almost like somebody's going to be watching over you. Maybe that's this person who dies. You know what? You know what I'm getting? I feel like somebody's grandfather is going to die. I don't know where I just got that. But you think the King of Cups, right, will be like a loving man. Okay, not a man that shows his love necessarily on the outside, but it doesn't mean that he doesn't hold a lot of love on the inside. And I feel like with this sword and this rose, I feel like it's like what I can see on the bottom is power and protection. So I feel like somebody dies, and with this ghost, like I'm like for once just looking at the ghost and being like, that seems like death to me. That seems like death to me. And then that ghost watches over you. Because where you're going is so unknown. That the world, it's like, okay, I believe that a lot of us are here and we cross each other's paths and we connect with each other on our road, right? On our paths when we absolutely need to have those people do what they do as part of our mission, right? Like there's people you need to meet, there's people you need to cross paths with, there's people that you need to exchange information with, and this all happens in different dimensions. This is, like whether or not you're actually shaking hands in real life as opposed to knocking shoulders with people in different dimensions. Whatever it is, you have to go to space and time to get things done in this world, okay? Unfortunately, it's part of the mission that gets brought to humans coming into such a 3D world, right? So I feel like this person that's transforming, okay, is going into such, it's not a dark place, but it's such a foreign place that, and this is probably not even here. I mean, it might be here, but it's definitely coming through different in like 5D, 6D. But I feel like you're going somewhere so fucking foreign that the world has to give you somebody that you know with you. And I think the only way that somebody can go with you is if they're not physically a part of this realm. Because then that would mean that two physical beings would have to be asleep at the same time, astral projecting at the same time, or daydreaming, lucid dreaming at the same time in order to get this job done. Which that synchronicity can happen, especially if you live with that person, right? You're sleeping with that person, whatever, you tend to get on the same sleep schedule, right? But in order, like, this is like same menstrual cycle kind of thing, right? Like, you have to find the people that you can do the jobs with in different realms at the same time that are going to be sleeping while you're sleeping, right? It's very, I don't know if that makes sense to you or not. I don't know if I explained it properly, but that's kind of how I feel, which means that this ghost, okay, that's in your past that dies, I don't know if they're dead yet. I don't know. But they find you and they come and guide you because I don't think you know where you're going. And like, this would be something like you've been in the same position, or you've been on the same block, or you've been in the same neighborhood your whole life, and you're going down the same streets all the time. But then all of a sudden, somebody fucking shoots you. And then you've got to go to the hospital. You've got to recover. Suddenly those streets that you knew so well become dangerous. So then you have to leave and find somewhere else to go. Right? And I think that's the part of it is having to leave something that you've known so well and find new land. And I don't know what this means in 3D. However way it comes out, if it resonates, is going to be different. But it's going to be the same transition. But just in all different forms. And that's taking your true power. That's like, and I can't help but see the like Pisces in this too. So like you might be Piscean, right? You might have Pisces in your chart, but like I really do feel like bringing the darkness to the light in your own self is the only true positive way that you can move through this world healthy, right? But you have to be willing to let it go. You have to be willing to do what this person did and ignite things and bring things to light and see things that you know you have to heal. and bringing healing energy to you, so then that is possible to do. And that probably on the outside looked really fucking greedy, really selfish, really indulgent. But when you're doing self-work and healing work, then yes, it's all about you. And it is going to look selfish as shit, because I feel like people need to be more selfish than what they are. I feel like people give themselves away. And then if you don't give yourself away, as much as somebody else does, then they'll judge you on that and be like, they can't even give themselves to alcohol like I do. They can't even give themselves to the mall like I do. And it becomes jealousy between one person and another, because you won't self-indulge in things that they do anymore, because you're self-indulgent in yourself, right? You're too busy stopping and figuring out. It's like you're stopping and accessing accessing information that's been so deep in there that you can't move until you know that you've got the right frequency to move forward, right? And I feel like somebody dies. Like I really do. Like I feel like somebody dies, so then you can transition through this next phase healthy. I mean, maybe this person was the monster in your room. Maybe this person did something to you and now they have to pay you back. Maybe they didn't help you when they should have. And now, like everybody's got a job here, and family is so important. And when grandmothers and grandfathers don't step in when they see that their daughters or their sons are not being proper parents, the grandparents are the ones that are supposed to step in and take care of those children. The grandparents are the ones that are supposed to know, wiser than the parent, wiser than the grandchild, right? Grandparents, there's a lot that get held on grandparents' backs. And I feel like people want to rush to being a grandparent. Like they can't wait till their kid has a kid, and it's like, because they want to do the baby thing all over again and appreciate it more. That's bullshit, yo. You already had your chance at having a kid and you didn't appreciate it. Don't put that shit on your kids' shoulders and make them raise a kid for you, for grandma and grandpa, and then abandon that grandchild the second that you don't want to have to deal with it anymore because your kid's acting a motherfucking fool, right? Like people just don't live their roles out properly because they're too obsessed with something that they've integrated into their minds as right, and they won't see the right answer staring them in the face. They'll kick it away and go with their own pride, their own ego, right? So I feel like this is a little bit it. Like this is about dating yourself. This is about getting yourself to a new phase. And okay, it's scary when you can't see what's coming, but would you rather hang in the energy you've been hanging in this whole time that's like literally getting you nothing, or move forward into something that's so blinding, that's so foreign, but you've got a ghost that's like with you and is just making sure you're okay? What a weird fucking reading. That was the weirdest. I have to say, I think that's the weirdest reading I've ever done. Like you just have a friendly ghost with you. Or like you're going to. Because you told everybody to back off. Isn't that crazy? And like that's how bad people obviously were around you. Like you told people to back up and get away from you because they were awful people. They didn't have your best interests at heart, especially this King of Cups, right? Especially this mofo that was supposed to stand up for you and now has to die in order to hold your hand so you don't get scared. Like, how karmic is that for somebody? Like, oh, you thought you did your job? Well, guess what? Now you have to die and do your job. I'd rather do the job in 3D. Oh, God. Wow. What a reading. I hope it resonates, Capricorn. You and your friendly ghost. Whoa.